music to do this to as well. Our next guest has played a lot of roles. I can actually see it, actually almost all the seats are filled with this man. Can we give it up, Sunnycon, for J. Michael?
Oh my god, hello. This is insane. I'm in England and you all know me. That's what's going on. What's happening? This is my life. I don't understand it. Hi, everyone. Hi. You're all so energetic. To me, it's like 4 in the morning. I have no back home. We're like, why is the sun out? This is crazy. Still jet lagged. It's a long way home. Long way home. Quick run. No one will see you. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. My partner Brandon and I, that's the cute one with the architectural hair sitting there on the table. Thanks for having us out here. This is fantastic. I haven't been to England in 20 years. You're like, whoa, why are you back? Seriously, about 20 years ago when I was just a wee lad of 18. Oh, now you know how old I am. Hope you're not good at math. I was here and I actually toured the country just with a friend of mine for my senior trip. That's what we call it. I don't know if you have that thing here. In America, when you're a senior in high school and you graduate, you have to go on a senior. You don't have to go on a senior trip. But it's good to go on a senior trip after you've been through 12 years of school before you go to college. And so my best friend and I decided to go and spend 3 months in the UK. And it was actually pretty awesome. And now I'm back and it's weird. Back then, I would walk into a pub and they were like, hello, how are you? Would you like this? Yes, thank you. Wonderful. Here I walk in and they scream at me. Oh, how things change in 20 years. So thank you for having me. It's like really, really exciting. I think we walked about, 15 miles yesterday, just walking around. We kind of got lost going by the ocean, going, well, we'll just follow the coastline. How far could it take us? Did I mention we live in the middle of Texas? What's this giant lake out there? Does it have another side? Kidding. But no, thanks for having me. This is really cool. So I guess it's just like a Q&A. And let me just comment before we get started of how warm it is in here. Not like back home Texas warm, because there it's about 115 degrees in the shade in autumn. So here it's not so bad, but like you come to, I mean, I knew it was Sunnycon, but I really thought it was an ironic name. It's England. You're not supposed to have the sun. It's supposed to stay behind clouds here, isn't it? And now the sun is out. I'm like, damn it. I love it though. It's actually really cool. So this is a Q&A. That means you provide Q and I provide A. I'm assuming you all know what that stands for. Get your minds out of the gutter. I know someone had to explain that to me once too. So I have a couple of rules I'd like to set down before we start. Rule number 1, I'm a little saucy, sometimes a little sassy. Does that mean something different here? Oh good, that means he's gonna strip. No, that's, damn it. Someone's like pulling out their money. No. So I tend to get I'm a little sarcastic at times. I may pick on you a little bit, please. It's completely out of love, I promise. It's just my personality. If I occasionally let a swear word fly out of my mouth, I don't mean anything personally by it. You all seem like very mature people that can take a damn or a hell or a crap or whatever else I might say. Sometimes it's alarming as an American to learn what counts as a curse word over here. Like, really? Oh wow. It's just a thing over in America. So a couple things. If you have seen like me do these videos on YouTube, you know, the Q&As back home in the States, and you want to ask a question that you've seen me answer on YouTube, think of something different. I like to riff on new things. I like to be asked questions and make me go, let me think about that for a moment while I come up with a bullshit answer. So, please feel free to challenge me and to test me and to make me look like a jackass. Not that I need a whole lot of help, but I do enjoy assistance. Other than that, I also try to be really, really random. So if you like have your hand up the whole time and I don't happen to pick on you, please don't take it personally. It's not that I don't love you. I just didn't want to answer your stupid questions. So, see, there's the saucy bit. And what else? Oh yeah, there's an autograph signing later today in a couple of hours. So now is not the time for autographs or things like that. And hugs, and please don't have me call your best friend's former roommate's cousin's hairdresser and ask them to propose or asked me to propose to them in Sebastian's voice. Happens all the time. I need a shirt that says, nope. We can do that later, but not on a panel. Nothing halts a panel like all of you watching me on the phone with someone who has no idea who they're talking to. I'm like, hello, do you know hi? And they're like, no, you just sound like my landlord. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, here, that voice does nothing. Nothing. In the States, people just fall to their knees. Here, you're like, not bad. So the pressure's on. Apart from that, anything goes, really. Try to keep it relatively family-friendly because we're apparently outside where everyone can hear us. So, hi. Oh, there's people standing over there, too. Hi, people standing over there, too. Hi. Are you just, like, watching? You just hanging out? Yay, Spider-Man and Attack on Titan people. And hello, you waving at me. She's like, oh my god, hi. I like your tie. So who's got a question to start us off? Anyone? Anyone at all? You in the front row. Can I oh, you're already giving me stuff to do? I just got here. Jesus. Wait. Let's see how good your handwriting is. Not very? So this is going to be a challenge. Oh, actually, your handwriting is rather lovely. Oh, out loud. You want me to read it out loud? Oh. Hang on, I'm terrible at cold reading. Everyone's got cameras on me. Oh, he's going to screw up. He's going to screw up. I'm going to have it on my phone. People are monsters. No. Okay, let's do this. Nancy Harkness. That's you. Hello. Any relation to Captain Jack Harkness? Yeah? You're sick as hell of that joke, aren't you? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me retract that. Starting over. To Nancy Harkness, I, Sebastian Michaelis, entrust you with my young master's ring. You must keep it secure at all times. You see, it contains his delicious soul. You see, I'm simply one hand of a butler. Yours truly. And to keep them drawing of Sebastian aside. You never know how evil he was. You did that. Well done. Well done. Oh my god, I'm sweating like a whore in church. Please forgive me if occasionally I'll just throw it out in the audience and it becomes this weird mist. Who's got another question? Oh, Christina, my assistant. Yes, you. Do you have a question? Can you speak up? If I had the opportunity to do what? If I had the opportunity to live in one of the anime worlds, assuming for many of the shows I've been in, oh my god, that's tough. I think my favorite, for reasons, and it's hard to pick a favorite. I'm really, really bad at the favorites game, because I am sort of into a lot of things, so it's hard to be like, I love this one more than anything else, but I don't know. At random, I'll pick the medieval Europe of Spice and Wolf. Do I have any Spice and Wolf fans here? Oh my god, 8 of you, yay, the rest of you suck. Spice and Wolf is really cool. I really grew really close to that character, Lawrence. And I like the fact that in that particular time period, historically, he represented an outcast because he was the itinerant peddler, meaning that he would go from place to place. He didn't really have a home. His home was his cart. And that was unusual back then in a time when most people didn't leave their villages and certainly didn't leave much, didn't go outside, let's say, a square mile of where they were born. So for Lawrence to be the person that kind of goes and has has so many miles under his belt and so many different countries and villages under his belt, it's really fascinating to me, and I would love to have played that role of that kind of outcast in that time period. I'm very fascinated by medieval history. And Europe has so much of it. So it's really cool. So I think that world. I know it's not very fancy. Like, oh, well, that's like a real world, Tatum. You suck. But it's not one I get to see anymore. So I would like to do that. Thank you. Good one. You look really exclusive, by the way, as Christina. Steins Gate fans. How many Steins Gates? Yes. The rest of you? And Ghost Hunt. Everyone loves Ghost Hunt. Ghost Hunt, Lynn had the best hair of any character I've ever played. He's a bit of a prick, though. All I do is sit there and go, it's cold, it's getting colder. My job is to sit here at this console and tell you that the temperature's going down. Shit's about to happen. Look at my hair. Thank you, assistant. Who's got another question? Oh, I know I'm going to regret picking on a grill, but here we go. Yes, darling. Any death sign? A microphone. Any death sign? I don't know. I really fancy yours. It's pretty badass. I don't know. I've not given that much thought. Let me think. What do you think? What do you see me carrying? That would be, I want an unlikely death sign. Help me out. I want something that doesn't look like an ice cream cone. And it's like, look at that. Really, it will kill you. I like it. Oh, nice. Pass the buck, Grail. Way to go. I'm going to go with ice cream cone. There. Thank you. You guys are so much fun. I love this. Who's got another question? Who's got another question? You, darling, with your hand way high like you're about to rocket into the stratosphere. What's your question? Would I cosplay Sebastian and do what? Go to a fangirl's house? No! My God, that's asking for trouble. How much money's on you? No, I'm kidding. I don't really look like Sebastian, so I feel like I would be I would look out of place dressed in that outfit. I don't have that wonderful willowy build. I'm rather tree-like, but not willowy, weirdly enough. I would love to look like that, don't get me wrong. I would love his hair too, but no. I would do it. I might do it on a dare that I lost with someone that had something on me. I don't know. Yeah, I would do it. I never actually cosplayed any of my characters because, as a voice actor, I have somewhat of a range. I can get away with playing characters in an anime that I would never ever be cast for, say, on stage or in front of a camera, because I don't look like a 17-year-old kid in high school, or I don't look like this giant rock monster that eats people. I hope I don't look like the latter. So I would love to go. Oh, hello. I was like, oh, hi, he's got a camera. But no, I would totally, I don't know. Should I cosplay Sebastian, sweetie? He's like, yeah. Okay. All right. Someone get cracking and make me that costume, please, because I have to be the best one there is. I can't come in that's the thing. I have so much respect for cosplayers because it's on. When you walk into a convention and you have any sort of cosplay on, you know you're going to run into like 15 Sebastians every time, and you hope they're all friends. Because whenever two people that have never met before meet and they're wearing the same costume, you're like, oh, hello. Do we fight now? So I would have to make sure, be like, hello. True story, this makes me think of that. It's not really a cosplay thing, but it's kind of a Sebastian thing, and people thinking I was outside getting a bit of fresh air at a con a couple of years ago when Black Butler was first getting really, really popular in the States. And a couple of fans came up and were like, oh my God, are you Michael Tatum? I'm like, yes, I am. Hello, thank you. And I try to be very approachable, so I was just like, shaking hands with them and signed a few things and talked for a few minutes. And they wanted me to do Sebastian's voice. It's kind of, daily girl. So they're like, oh, do Sebastian's voice. I'm like, hey, baby, how are you? And they're like, oh, melt. It happens over in the States. It's weird. The British voice just makes people do things they wouldn't normally do. It's like, hello, I'm British. I think Eddie Izzard has a great joke about the British voice and how it can get away with anything, and how that's why you guys ruled the world for so many centuries. Because you can be like, hello, how are you? Do you like these shiny beads? Do you? Wonderful. You take these, and I'll take all the land from here to the horizon. Thank you. But in the States, we still hear, like, every bad guy ever in every franchise is always played by a Brit. Because we all suspect that Brits are smarter and classier than we are, and it frightens us. True story, though. True story. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. So I was talking to these fans and talking in Sebastian's voice, and then a very, very drunk member of their cadre comes over and is like, hey, guys, listen, who's this guy? And they're like, dude, this is the guy. He does Sebastian. And not fully understanding, he just heard Sebastian. He's like, God, do it. Let's hear it. So I'm like, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Sebastian. Simply one hell of a blah, 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 blah. And no kidding, he goes, oh my God, dude, you're better than the son of a bitch that does it for real. And I'm like, thank you. And then he was mortified when his friends were like, dude, that is the guy that does it for real. He's like, oh shit. this now? So I signed them all as other people. It was hilarious. But yeah, cosplay that. Could you imagine if I cosplayed? People like, oh my god, and do the voice. I'm like, you suck. I'd be like, I can't take the criticism. But thank you for, I imagine your insinuation is that I could get away with it, so maybe one day I will try. I'll have to do the music tutor instructor, because he has glasses. Without these, I'm kind of blind. So I'd be a Sebastian running into things and talking to lampposts. Let's got another question. Let's see, toward the back of the room. Are you alright? Are you gonna die? Alright, well then maybe I should let you ask your question so you don't die. What's your question, darling? Well, come out here first of all so everyone can see you. You brought this on yourself. What's your name, sweetie?
Scarlett.
Scarlett. Oh, it's such a pretty name. What's your question, darling?
Which character have you enjoyed voicing to most?
None of them. I'm kidding. Which voice? Which voice? That's a hard question to answer. Back to the favorites game. You don't have to say it in the book if you don't want to. But you do have to give me something. I'm kidding. I want the skeleton arm. What is that? Can I see that real quick? Come back. Wait, come back. Is this like a butt scratcher? Hey, I have a question. You could use this one. Where did you get this? Is actually pretty cool. You don't know where you got it? You don't know where you got a black skeleton arm? I think I love your life. Someone's like, yawn, it's a skeleton arm. I don't know, it's just lying around somewhere. Awesome, thank you. A favorite character, it's really hard. I'm an actor, and we're all a little psychotic. So when we play a character, like at least I say we, other actors are mostly very balanced, rational people. I am not. So this is all just out of my own mouth. I get really attached to a character, even if it's like Soldier A in this or that show who has 2 lines and then gets shot and killed. Like, freeze! I'm like, oh, I love that guy. And they all sort of become a permanent feature of my psyche. And to date, there's like 200-something characters all in there that I've played just in anime that are up there, and they're kind of, it's like having a really big extended family when you're at home for holiday, and we all do the big meal and everyone's screaming at each other over the turkey or whatever, and so it's this constant chaos of voices all vying, all duking it out to see who gets control of my voice. So if I were to pick a favorite, just to answer your very sweet question, it is a very sweet question, I would go, this character, just for want of an answer, and then go back to my hotel room tonight and face 20 characters that would be looking at me in my head going, you're a bastard. Why didn't you choose me? So I try to avoid that and say, everything's my favorite. But it really is. I mean, these characters kind of are in there and part of your wheelhouse, what we call it, your family, your internal monologue. So sometimes I might be Sebastian on a given day. That Sebastian's voice is going to get me through a particularly rough day. I'm not even talking about acting. I'm just talking about just being out in public and going, I'm actually very shy, says the man standing in front of all of you with a microphone. I'm actually very, very shy, so I conjure up various voices and characters in order to just get through social exchanges every day. And sometimes it's Sebastian, and sometimes it's Lauren, sometimes it's Israel. Many of them sound a lot like me. But it's just the idea, it's the character, it's what motivates them, that sometimes I can hide behind a voice that is not my own. And so they're all, in one way or another, very, very important to me, and makes it impossible for me to pick a favorite. I do have another funny Sebastian story. By the time I just decided to use that voice in public, I was in Oklahoma, which is just north of Texas where I live, and it's a con. And I love going to cons. I love staying an extra day after a con because I love wandering around the hotel and the convention center and seeing the contrast. Here from the States. It's weird. I don't know what he's doing here. It's actually pretty badass. So I just decided I love the contrast going around a convention space the day after the con has left the premises, and now you look around the hotel and convention center and like all the colorful cosplayers and enthusiastic fans are gone, and it's just salary men in business suits weeping into their open briefcases, wandering around looking for their rooms. It's really sad. The hotel goes back to normal, and I love looking around going, next con, please, right now. But I wasn't quite, on this particular occasion in Oklahoma, I wasn't quite done being on. So I decided to have a little fun with the hotel staff, which had changed over. They weren't the staff that were there over the weekend, so they didn't see me or recognize me, so I'm like, yes, free reign, fresh victim. So I go to the concierge desk and just start randomly talking to this poor girl named Jennifer, I believe her name was, in Sebastian's voice. And mind you, again, this is America, this is Oklahoma, where like, hey, how's it going? And suddenly I'm like, hello, good morning, how are you? I wonder if you can help me find a good place to get some steak or whatever. And she just looks at me and goes, no, stop it. What is that coming out of your mouth? Stop. And inside I'm thinking, yes, I've got her. Awesome. So I just play it out. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Is the accent troubling to you? And some people don't always understand it in this part of the country. I could slow down or I could write it down. I'm like, just totally having fun with her, right? And she goes, what did I just say? Stop. Deborah, come here. Deborah. Little girl, Deborah, comes over. Hello, and I'm like, hello, Deborah, how are you? Back to Jennifer. No, see, if you were my boyfriend and you talked like that to anybody else, I would kick your ass. So my voice is getting me into trouble. A lot. It's really the best part of what I do for a living. But seriously, I'm just a crazy man in a padded room making voices. That's what I do. I would do it anyway. It's just in this case, they happen to wheel a microphone in front of me and use them for other things. Who's got another question? You with the green thing. Could you speak up, Donna? Is it true, she asks, if when I'm playing France, I have to wear the blue snuggie? Yes, it is true. It began, we had worked on the first season of Italia, and without a problem. The accent is very ridiculous and very hysterical, and it goes all over the place, and oh my god, yeah, it's really weird doing it here. Because you guys love that accent. Try going to Montreal in like French Canada, and they're like, oh my god, you're an asshole. But I was actually recording Sebastian the same day as I had to go in for a quick hour and do this last deadline recording for, I think, the second season of Italia. And because I had been doing Sebastian's voice all day, it wasn't very easy to just slough that off into the next section and be like, hello, how is everyone doing? You know, I couldn't find it. I kept slipping back into this weird hybrid of English and whatever the hell else was going on inside my head that day. And Scott Sager, the show's director, that particular season director, was like, what's wrong with you? We have an hour to do this and we have a deadline. We can't reschedule. Come on, get with it. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I can't produce the voice today. Actor's nightmare. I just so happened to see a blue snuggie on the floor, which I think either Caitlin Glass or Leah Clark, two voice actresses I work with extensively, had left because they get cold in the booth. And I saw it, and I just decided to be very, very silly, because there's a glass wall between where I'm recording and where the director and the engineer are directing and engineering. So they can see me, and I know if I put this on, I'd at least diffuse the tension by looking like an ass. Because everyone looks like an ass in a snuggie. It's impossible, especially when you're growing up and you're like, hello, look, I look like I'm wearing pajamas. Lazy pajamas, and it's the middle of the day. So I put this on. I'm like, Scott, I'm going to put this blue snuggie on, because I'm getting kind of a Frosty the Snowman magic top hat vibe from this thing. And I put it on, and somehow, as if by magic, the accents came out, and we're like, oh, sorry, these, I just have to put something blue on. And after that, Scott Sager, son of a bitch that he is, put it in my contract that I had to wear that snuggie every time. I don't know if I should tell this story, but I feel I should. Let's just say there's Italia on the way, more Italia on the way. I may or may not have already recorded on some of it. And the snuggie story that I just told you, I told at a panel that I was actually on with the show's original creator, who was having everything coming out of my mouth translated to him through his interpreter. So he heard the snuggie story and thought it was hysterical. Fast forward 2-3 years and recording maybe the latest stuff of Italia a few months ago, I may or may not have come across a scene in which France was wearing a snuggie. And I'm like, oh my god, yes. Maybe, just saying maybe. I can neither confirm nor deny. But yes, I do indeed have to wear the blue snuggie every time. And even when there was a gap of about a year before we weren't recording it, I came back and the snuggie came out of the vault. Here's Tatum's blue snuggie. Caitlin Glass and Lee Clark refuse to wear it anymore. They're like, it smells like Tatum and shame. So now it's just mine. It's the Funimation blue snuggie. Thank you very much. You, yes, Attack on Titan, you got a question.
What's the most challenging role you've ever had to do?
The most challenging role I've ever had to do, they all have their own challenges, and they're all, besiege you in different ways, but without a doubt, I think the most difficult time, the most emotional I've ever gotten over a show was Steins and playing Okabe. Those of you that have not seen it, I'm going to plug it for a few moments here because it's absolutely one of the best things I've ever gotten to work on. I know I said earlier I don't like to play the favorites game, but under protest, if I had like a gun on me and someone's like, pick a favorite, it would have to be Steins Gate because of the experience I had while working on it. Now, Steins Gate, for those of you that don't know, is a show that deals rather beautifully and realistically with time travel and the potential it has to really mess up your mind. And the main character just happens to be a lot like me in some ways. He's a little over the top. He likes to play pretend. He's a bit of a Don Quixote in a way, and all of his friends kind of keep him around because he's just the sort of friend, we all know them, that we like to watch wear themselves out, right? And basically these kids discover how to send text messages back in time, and when they do, it starts changing the present in at first very comical ways. But about halfway through, the show gets phenomenally dark. Like, it gets very real and gets very raw, and it's just an emotional roller coaster from that point on to the very end. And it's just one of the most rewarding experiences. Well, the show was given to me to work on as a lead adaptive writer months before we were auditioning for it. And myself and Patrick Seitz, the writer I work with most often, who you probably know as Germany from Italia, very dear friend of mine, also a sublime adaptive writer. I love working with Patrick because he's got the same diseased sense of humor that I have. He has the same elan for literature and for just peppering his adaptive writing with quotes from the masters. So it's a lot of fun to work with him, and Steins Gate seemed like a show that was tailor-made for our particular skill set as adaptive writers. So Patrick and I would sit and talk about what we were going to do with this given scene or this given character's, adaptive scripts, whatever, and it was really an intense, creative, wonderfully organic experience, and the whole time I'm just having fun with Okabe, just filling his mouth with the most implausible dialogue and the most winding, linguistic labyrinths, because he's that kind of kid to get away with it. So I am having a field day, all the while thinking to myself, I do not envy the poor bastard that has to bring this to life in the booth. It's me shit. So I got cast as Okabe a few months later, which I didn't know, and when we started doing it, I'm like, oh my god, now there's a period, the way we have to record in the States, there was a great deal of overlap between the writing process and the recording process. And because Okabe is such a chatty Cathy, he never shuts up, and almost every single scene of the show is through his particular perspective, and there's a very good reason for that, which I won't give away. So he's talking non-stop, and it's not a very huge cast. There's only about 8 or 9 characters in it that are recurring, and it's mostly just him talking and going through all these experiences. So I would record for about 8 hours a day, every day, and then come home and have to work on a script for the same show for another 5 or 6 hours. Eat, sleep, rinse, repeat cycle. And so I never got away from this character for the about 5 or 6 months we worked on the show. And it was devastating because after a while I just didn't remember Michael anymore. Michael was gone. I'm like, oh my god, what happens? And there's a scene in episode 13, I think, where, again, I don't want to give too much away because the show hinges so much on the element of surprise, but there is a really desperate, heart-rending moment where he is having to essentially plea for the life of his friend at peril to his own. And it's the first time as an audience we really begin to see him as a real human being. Up until that point, he's been a very loud, obnoxious, over-the-top, comedic character in some respects. But when the show takes that very dark turn halfway through, everything that he's used to get by on life, this coping mechanism, this let's pretend attitude, this arrogance that he has, no longer works. And he's forced to just strip all that away and just be real. And it's devastating to watch because it's so humbling. And there's this wonderful scene. And when writing the adaptive script for that particular scene, I was like, oh my god, I had a tear in my eye writing the scene. And then a couple of months later, we actually got to record the scene, and I was dreading it because I thought, I don't know if I've got the chops as an actor to pull this off, because he's just so wheel, and it's such a turn. By that time, I think we've been recording and writing. The overlap had been profound for so many weeks that by the time I did it, I was just lost, and I got lost in the character, and that very tenuous line between Michael and Okabe completely disappeared in that scene, and I had a mental breakdown and started crying, and it got very, very uncomfortably real for everybody in the session. And my director, the lovely Colleen Klinkenbeard, oh, it's you, now you're on that side. Oh my God, you're like a weeping angel, stop it. That's not creepy at all. I want to see you look at me through a third-story window. That would be amazing. But well done, well done. So I'm in the booth and I have a mental breakdown, as you do, and my director was like, why don't you back off a little bit? Maybe just go splash some water on your face and, you know, just walk around the studio for a little bit. Maybe find Michael again, because it's a little scary. And so I did, and I came back in the booth dreading a second take of that scene, and Colleen was like, oh no, darling, we don't have to do that again, actually. If you're okay with it, we're just going to use your mental breakdown and use that on the final edit. I'm like, let's see. Humiliation of the entire world knowing what I sound like when I actually cry versus having to do this again. Let's go with option A. So if ever any of you are interested in hearing J. Michael Tatum have a severe emotional breakdown in the booth, watch episode 13 of Steins Gates. That's real. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, you holding up the poor dog. If I could send any D-mail, okay, that's, those of you that didn't know Steins-Gate, that's what they call mail us text messages that go back in time. D-mail, clever, right? Watch the show. I would have texted myself a message not to wear black today. Yeah. And then I would probably show up in something, and then it would rain. I don't know. What would you say? Do you have something? No? It's hard. When you watch that show, you don't want to send emails anymore. You're like, let's not do it. Let's not do it. Things change. The world becomes horrible. No. So, no Gmail. No Gmail. No Gmail. So I told myself maybe to lay off all the inverted clauses I gave Okabe, because they're really hard to do in the booth. You standing up over there. Yes, you. What's my opinion on what? He's a scary clown, evil, and it frightens me, and I want him to die. Oh, shit. Well done, though. That's a great cosplay. I love the character Russell. I think it's a very creepy creation, but I'm actually phobic of clowns, so yeah. I mean, I'm not as bad as I used to be. I don't have the sickening urge to kill you or run away. Now I'm just going, oh, yeah, that's not bad, not bad. By the way, let me give you some advice, all of you. If you have some deep-seated fear, some phobia that really just makes you unhinged when presented with it, don't tell anyone, for God's sake. I wish I could go back in time, and I would send an email telling myself to tell everyone I was afraid of wads of cash. Everyone's like, oh, you're afraid of clowns? Huh? Why? People just like poke and poke and poke and poke and poke. It's very silly to be scared of clowns, though, but clowns are scary, damn it. Let's see. I think one of the twins from Ouran. Oh, both of them. Crap. Hello. Hi. What? You'll have to speak up, dear. I still couldn't hear you. I'm so sorry. Can you sign it out? No? Oh, like Blood Brothers, yes. I love Jiro. Jiro's actually very close to my heart, because that was my first ever lead role. And he was, you know, I kind of liked it. I really love his hat. And I love the relationship he had to his little brother. The little scene in the coffin where, like, you know, little brother's like, wake up, brother, wake up. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's awesome. I'm like, it's a vampire family comedy. Yeah. I like it. I love it. I love Black Vampires. You. Thank you. Okay, so she just asked me about my role as Inaru in One Piece, which is a big, deep, ridiculous voice, and he's like the ultimate douchebag. He's just such a like, hello, I'm going to kill everything with lightning because I can. Why not? And when I was first finding that voice, I used to do this thing with Mike McFarlane, the show's director. We would go to drive-thrus near the studio and order at the drive-thru window in Inaru's voice. But so your question was, what's the best reaction I've ever gotten? I never got a reaction.
I mean, once or twice I've been recognized. People are like, oh my god, you're J. Michael Tatum. I'm like, oh, yay, yay, hi. They never get my order wrong when you order was interview, I can tell you that much, because it's terrifying. Like, yes, I would like a number 6 with curly fries and an Oreo cookie shake. Will there be anything else? Yeah. No, I'm good. You drive around, and all you have to understand, anyone that works anywhere within 5 miles of the studio, or any studio for that matter, is used to this kind of thing happening, because we're actors and we're kind of jerks, so we like to prank people and do voices like the thing in Oklahoma. I'm like, hello dear, how are you? You got me in trouble with Deborah, or Jennifer, her friend there. You know, that kind of stuff happens all the time. So anyone that works, any sort of, like public service, in anywhere near the studio hates their lives and are very used to us doing this. So we drive through, I could go through naked on the back of a rhinoceros, and I don't think I would get much of a reaction. I'm like, oh, you must be an actor. Hi, here's your ultimate cheeseburger. Have fun. So yeah, no one's ever really reacted to it. It's really funny when you do that voice anywhere, and I've done it like in drive-thrus most. Occasionally I'd actually do it at a sit-down restaurant where I'm just like, hello, thank you, I'd like a Coke, please. And they look at you, but the waitstaff tries so hard to not be like, is that your real voice? Because they don't want to take a chance on that it is your real voice and suddenly you're insulted. So it's really funny just watching people desperately try to hold it together, because you know they're conflicted. They're like, I don't know that that's his real voice. I want to say something, but... Another thing I love to do to try to unhinge waitstaff is to cry eat. Do you know what that is? Cry eating? Anyone cry eats? Oh my god, please, I want all of you to cry eat at some point over the weekend. It's an important social institution. We do it all the time there. The trick is to go to a restaurant. If it's a nice restaurant, that's even better. And just start out wonderfully. When your food comes, start crying while you eat it. Like you hate yourself for what you're eating, but you can't stop. And I mean ugly cry. Not this like single tear, like Demi Moore and Ghost kind of thing. I mean, you're like... like that. Because the waitstaff, and then when the waitstaff comes over, you just like snap out of it. And be like, oh yeah, more breadsticks would be great, thank you. And they walk, it really messes with them. And we have contests, some of us actors that would do this, we're like, see how we could just cry it together. The only thing better than cry eating by yourself in a restaurant while you eat is cry eating with 2 or 3 other people who are all doing it with you. It looks weird. It really does. We're like, what? There's a story here, but no one wants to know what it is. I was at a con recently. It was actually the same con I was talking about earlier, where I went around the hotel the day after and did Sebastian's voice and got in trouble for it. They had taken us out to this nice pub, and the whole convention was there. Like much of the staff, all the guests, and the planners and stuff, and we were having this lovely time. And I decided to tell them all about the trick of cry eating. This would be a great time to do it. So I had the entire table of like 20 people cry eating. You remember this? He was there. He was actually really cry eating though, because he hadn't had like sweet potato fries in a year. He's like, oh my god. So this was real. His was absolutely real. It was gorgeous. But the con chair's mother, this wonderful woman who I really bonded with over the weekend, out cry ate all of us, and it was frightening. She was like, and we were all like, oh my god, please stop. No, I can't. It was hysterical. We're like, winner. No one will ever best you in cry eating. So yeah. This is what I do. I'm an adult. Really? I'm an adult. I don't know how I made it, but I'm here. Yes, you drive. Oh god, more shit to read. It's hard to read. What do you got? Who's this? Who inspires him with Sebastian's voice? Oh, cool. Okay, I'll tell that after I read. Oh, that's lovely handwriting. I look like I write things with my feet. I really do. I'm like, but this is lovely. The penmanship is gorgeous. We just moved the first phrase because everything is like, oh, and this, okay. A phantom high bottle will count to this much isn't worth his soul. It's so weird when actual British people get bent out of shape with that voice. That's your voice. You're like, I feel judged. You're like, oh, I mean, it's really validating to hear British people go, oh my god, do the Sebastian voice. It's kind of weird. It's awesome though. Now, true story. Yeah, I'll hand this back to you, or if you want it. Do you want it? It's paper. You might be able to use it. Thank you. He wants to kill me. The true voice is, it's kind of a Valentine to my speech therapist when I was a little boy. True story, when I was very, very young, I almost spoke not at all because I had such a debilitating speech impediment, and it was very hard on me. So one of the reasons I found drama in the first place is because we found that if I had a script to read from, or a poem to recite, or a performance to give, that the setter tended to be subsumed by that. And so I literally fell in love with acting because it made me find my voice. But my very first, and this is true, my very first speech therapist was this lovely, like 1,000-year-old lady, and she was British, with this beautiful British voice. Everything was so clear and crisp and beautiful, and she'd say, you know, the rain in Spain falls mainly in the plains. She had a little tin of candies that she'd give you one if you did well. It was really, really cool. And she was like 1,000 years old, and she had like, you know, a big bun of gray hair that accounted for a full foot of her height. And her name was actually Mrs. Brit. Not kidding. So she was like quintessentially British. I think she was like Mary Poppins. Cross between Mary Poppins and Gandalf. So in a way, my doing the British voice, I fall into that accent very easily for someone that was born in the States, because this British woman is kind of how I learned to speak, really. So even though I'm from Texas, where everyone kind of sounds like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Would you like some steak and maybe a hat? You know, everyone in my family sounds like they're from Texas, but I'm like the neutral tone, like what they call the mid-Atlantic accent. It's very easy to, hello, how are you? Shiny beans? Shiny beans? Yeah, I owe my accent to a little British lady. Thank you, Britain, you saved my voice. You with the fan. The fan with the fan. Wait, I can't hear you at all. I'm so sorry. What, you're asking, make sure I'm understanding correctly, like you're saying like cosplay, like what I cosplay as in my characters? Revisiting this, I don't know who I look like. I don't know if I can get away with anyone. I look like Kyoya at 38. But I'd be like, if he's still wearing his school uniform at 38, that's a problem. That doesn't seem like a Kyoya thing. I don't know. I think I could possibly get away with some hair dye. I could go as Ouran from Attack on Titan, because we are roughly the same build. But I have to get rid of these glasses and get contacts, because he doesn't wear glasses. Those don't really work very well when you're in battle, I think. But yeah, I could do Ouran Smith. Who's hilarious. Like, I love that character. I think hilarious, which is an odd thing to say about Ouran, because when you stop and think about it, Ouran's like, we're all gonna die. Who's with me? That's like his whole shtick. Yeah, it's true. So, thank you, darling. Thank you. You, darling, in the front row. Am I looking forward to season 3 of Black Butler? You bet your ass I am. I have no idea like when it's gonna come down the wire or if we're gonna get it. I mean, I'm an actor, so I'm the last person to know these things. I have nothing to do with the acquisitions. But hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed. And all of us on that show would love to reprise our roles, because it's a great show. It's a great franchise to be part of. I mean, my God, look at me. I'm traveling all the way here from the US to talk to you about Black Butler. I don't think I'd be here otherwise. It's weird. So yeah, love that show. Love that show. You, darling, with the awesome hat. Who do I ship with Grell? Him. I ship you with Grell. Come here for a second. Oh, I need a picture of this. Please come out. I so love this. Oh my God. This is great. Wait, I'm getting a selfie. Thank you. Well done. Things you don't think you're going to be doing when you wake up in the morning. I love it. You with the pink wig and you're holding up the blue winged cat. Way back there. You're from Fairy Tales, right? Okay. You'll have to really project, my dear, because it's hard to hear up here. Am I planning on going any Swedish cons? Not currently, but if they ask me, I'll go. Oh my God, I love Sweden. Are you from there? Really? Awesome. Can I go? The power's in your hands, darling. Hey, are there Swedish cons? Are there Swedish anime cons? Really? God, I love anime. I love Sweden. I've been a few times when I was a kid and I used to travel with my father, and I just love it. I think it's beautiful. I would love to go back. Love to go back. So get them to ask me. I'll say yes. I will say yes. You there in the red, standing up. You'll have to speak up now. Whoa. I'm gonna sit over here. What? Sorry. It may be easier just to call you up. I don't mean to embarrass you. Say hi. Everyone say hi. See, they love you. Okay, what's your name, darling? Here, step a little. That thing scares me.
Hello. Carrie.
Hello, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Everyone say hi, Carrie. What's your questions?
I was just wondering, which two of your characters do you shoot together?
Which two of my characters I shoot together? That's... Look at me, I feel like I haven't thought about this before. I don't know, which two of my characters do you ship together?
I think...
Don't act like you haven't thought about this long and hard. We both know you have.
I think maybe Kyoya and Sebastian.
Kyoya and Sebastian? Okay, I get behind that. They're a good pair. They'd be a great unstoppable team, right? Someone would ask me what would happen in a fight between the two of them. I'm like, they would stop and be like, why are we fighting? I'm gonna buy you a drink. Okay, I can ship that. Thank you, darling. Kyoya and Sebastian. I'm kind of glad you didn't say Sebastian in France, actually. Not that I don't love France, but Sebastian in France would be a really uncomfortable pairing. Someone once asked me to do a routine, like, what would happen if Sebastian and, like, what would it sound like if Sebastian and France met? And my routine off the cuff was like, oh my God, you're so sexy. Do you want to come work for me? No. Adventure time, you go. What? Did I love having a loving relationship, a love-hate relationship with Brit and Natalia? Yeah, it's hilarious. What do you guys think about that, by the way? Yeah? Yes. I love that France is such a fun character to play because he's that guy. He's the one that, like, just doesn't care and comes into the room and, like, just makes everybody fabulously uncomfortable and then leaves. He's like a rainbow fart. You're like, that's a fart, but it's pretty. And everyone's like, what just happened? That just happened. And all those characters, all the other characters in Italia in one way or another, are all very kind of stuffy and, like, you know, are just like pent up in various ways. And France is like, oh, come on, just have a little wine. Sign this calendar. It'll be all right. I love being that character, the one that all of them are like, great, women wine in France. True story though, like, try doing that accent anywhere else, like here and in the States, and they love it. They love that accent. But if you go to, like, Paris or to French Canada, and they're like here, people will be like, oh my God, do the French laugh, please, it's so glorious, do the French laugh. And I'll be like, oh, and that happens. In, like, Quebec, they're like, do the French laugh. And they stare at me coldly for many, many, many long moments, and then I go, oh. And they go, not bad. And they walk off. It's weird. Italy, the second row. I have a voice role. Sorry. Do I have a voice role that I would like to play? Wait, what was that last part? Oh, a type of voice acting. I really like playing. I like playing I like playing bad guys, like villains, like the posh, sophisticated villains, and I've done it quite often, and it's really a lot of fun to do because I'm not at all like that in real life. I'm actually very kind of milquetoast and you know, at best of times, I could never be a successful villain because I would be like, yes, taking over the world. Oh, I have to do things? Never mind. But it's glorious to play bad guys because they're so wonderfully self-actualized. You know, the best of them. They're magnificent because they do things none of us could ever do. But while we may think in our heart of hearts, wow, they're jerks, and I don't want to know them, and I don't agree with what they're doing. But some part of us, I think, is a little envious that they have that much just get up and go. They have that much just drive to do what they do and not be plagued by questions of moral significance. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to do this. And I think all of us sometimes feel a little hindered by our conscience. And that's by and large a good thing, to have a conscience and to feel like, have it. I mean, it's doing its job if it keeps you from doing things that are awful. But every now and again, I think it's interesting to consider a villain who doesn't have a conscience, and how wonderfully, weirdly liberating it is to play those characters, because it's therapeutic. I can get away with things in the booth or on stage or in front of a camera that I would never ever forgive myself for in real life. So it's nice. That's one of the best things about acting in general, by the way, is because what's the appeal? And I'm like, well, the appeal is because I can't decide what the hell I want to do with my life, so I want to pretend to do everything. That's what I love about acting. So thank you. But villains, definitely villains. The suave, sophisticated villains that seem to, they're the ones that are like the chief architects of the plot. The ones that pull all the strings, that are very calm, sophisticated, maybe sipping tea. They're usually British. In the States. Most villains are British. I don't know why. I like it though. It's kind of cool. You, darling. Not that I'm aware of. Watch me go to Paris and get beaten the hell out of in the street. No one's ever, as far as I know, I hope not. I think no one's ever sent me anything. I don't know, they may not watch Italia in English over there. I'm sure a lot of this stuff gets a dub in French. And to them, I don't know. I really don't know. All I'm worried about now is none of you were offended by my British accent. Yes, you were drawing in the hat. Any character, if I could play any character that I wanted. I think I've answered this before, and I like this. I'm a really big fan of the writer Virginia Woolf, and one of my favorite books ever is a book of hers called Orlando, which is about this guy named Orlando who grows up in the Elizabethan age, and continues to live at the same. Go on through various periods of history. He just suddenly finds himself to be immortal, and there's no real explanation. It's just a thing. And about halfway through, toward the 20th century, he wakes up to find himself a woman. He's now female. And so now the way society relates to him is vastly different, and it becomes this wonderful meditation on the gender roles in society and how they've evolved. I would love for that to be either a stage play. It has been made into a film. It would make a great anime, in my opinion, because it's got that wonderful richness to it, and God knows anime does not shy away from gender bending, which I love. But I'm really attracted to, first of all, playing characters that are immortal, because I think those characters have been around for so long that their brains have collected so much over the years that they've become sort of this reservoir of the spiritual energy of a number of different ages that they've lived through. And I just love exploring the fictional, albeit fictional, consciousness of such a character, really getting to inhabit what it must be like to live hundreds of lifetimes. And what wouldn't you do? What wouldn't you feel? We can't even imagine what someone like that would look, how it would be to look at the world through their eyes. It's really, really cool to just ponder. But the fact that I would be sharing the role with a woman, so we're both on both sides of that gender bending issue in the middle of the book, would be wonderful. I like the idea of sharing a role with someone because I like feeling that I'm part of a continuum of several actors who've taken up the mantle of the same characters. Why stage appeals to me so much. Yes, you have a question. Sure.
I've done it again. What's been the best and worst characters you've ever voiced?
There's never been a worst, and I say that actually truthfully because the thing is, that's not to say that I haven't voiced a character that was a show that maybe I'm not the ideal audience for, but I'm an actor. It's a creative, it's an imaginative position, and I feel if I can't find something to love about the character that I'm playing, it's a failure of my own imagination, not the show's. So luckily, I seem to have imagination enough that I've not yet encountered the character that I just could not get my head around. And as far as best characters, again, Okabe from Steins because it was such a dramatic turn. But again, it's one way or another all of them because they all become a part of you and they all crop up every now and again. Yeah. Did I love playing Sir Hammerlock? Yes. Yes. Borderlands 2 fans? Any of you? Borderlands 2 fans? Oh my god, awesome. There's a few, woo, screaming. True story, I got into Canada because of that voice. I was going to a con in Canada and I had to go through customs, And when I wrote down voice actor on a little customs form, the guy was like, oh, yeah, you're a voice actor? Anything I would know? And he looked like a gamer. He just looked like, he was about your age, and he just had that look. I'm like, you're a first-person shooter guy. I just something about it. I'm like, are you a gamer? He's like, yes. I'm like, Borderlands 2? He's like, oh my god, I love that game. Oh my god, you in that? I'm like, yeah. I'm Sir Hammerlock. And instantly he gets suspicious and no longer believes me. He's like, so now he's got my passport in one hand and the stamp in the other, hovering. He's like, do the voice. So here I'm in the middle of like Toronto airport and the customs, and I'm like, hello, Bolt Hunter! Things need to be shortened by two. You're the one to shoot them. And there's this long, uncomfortable pause. He's like, you're welcome to Canada. That's awesome. Get out of here. So that happened. Yeah, thank you. Yes, you, darling. You look adorable, by the way. Say again, say again, say again. Sebastian and Kyoya went on a date. I don't think they... this is going to sound so dirty. I don't think they talk a lot. Oh no, it's weird. I'll have to think about that and get back to you. That's hard to improvise because they're both very button-up characters. They don't just... They're neither one of them are very frequently the first to talk. They have it all up here, you see. You have to be the one to finesse it out of them. So that'd be an interesting and awkward and very intense first date. I would totally love to see it. Yes, you! Waving and waving and waving. Yes, you! What? Do you think Who and Ouran should have ended up with Haruhi? You think Kyoya ended up with Haruhi? No, I don't. No, I think Kyoya had a thing for Tamaki. And that is how I played him. That's not to say that that's necessarily what was there, but I think Kyoya and Haruhi had a kind of brother-sister relationship. I think he came to really respect her as an equal, because they were kind of two sides of the same coin. Both of them kind of standing outside of the craziness of everyone else's antics and kind of in this privileged place to be able to judge it and be like, oh yes, whatever. So I think by the end of the show, the evolution of Kyoya's character is such that, especially when you see the episode of, and then Kyoya met him, it's clear that Tamaki just came crashing into his consciousness like a meteorite, and he had no idea what to do about it. And that's typically how someone reacts when they've realized, oh my god, I'm in love. What? And Kyoya was a character that hadn't made room for that kind of thing. He was very busy trying to, please daddy, son of a bitch that he was. And so he'd never considered this. And suddenly this cute, crazy French blonde, sounds familiar, comes into his life, and it just kind of shows him that, just stop, take it easy, have a little fun. What are you doing? And I think Kyoya fell in love with him, very clearly. I would have. And Tamaki's the kind of character that at first, I think he just represented the missing part of Kyoya's life. Now, that said, I don't believe Tamaki necessarily reciprocated. I think Tamaki loved Haruhi, and himself a lot. But I think as the show evolved, as the characters all evolved, one of the great things about that show is the characters all go through these stunningly wonderful and convincing character arcs where they change. How you feel about them at the beginning changes dramatically by the end. And Kyoya, I think, saw that Tamaki and Haruhi maybe on some level belonged together and tried to make that happen at the end because he felt, here are two people in some way that he loved dearly. Haruhi as his sister and Tamaki as his crazy French blonde friend. And he thought, well, I can't ever have that, so I will try to get them together. That's my interpretation, just mine. That's not canon, so please don't kill me if you don't like that read. I think the show sustains many different interpretations. Sebastian. You have to speak up, darling. I'm so sorry. What's my opinion on Phil and Sebastian as a relationship? It's kind of creepy because Phil's a kid. I much prefer Sebastian and Grell. I do. I like redheads. What can I say? I like brunettes and I like redheads, and together it's just perfect. Black and red always goes together. So yeah, that's it. Personally, the whole CL Sebastian thing, I'm like, no, CL is more like, now CL may well be in love with Sebastian, but I don't know that it's reciprocated. I think Sebastian just sees CL as, first as dinner, and And then later his opinion evolves to have a great deal of respect for this trust fund brat who grows up into actually being a rather capable young man. And I think as what Sebastian is, he begins to kind of fuse. I mean, he is a demon, so it's hard to know really what a demon thinks because he's not human. And we kind of ascribe human emotions to a demon at our peril, I think. He's sort of a force of nature in that he looks human and is a great butler. That's all the mask he's wearing. It's his camouflage, so to speak, so that he can eat. But I think, especially by season 2, there's clearly something going on there where, like, his regard for CL's growth is such that now the mask he wears and whatever is underneath it, which you cannot know, has begun to fuse. And I think he deeply respects and even in some ways idolizes CL. So that's why I really like the way season 2 ends for that reason. But good question.
You with the axe.
What? Come on. Just calling you guys up. So it's easier. So I'm like, hello, what? And I get closer, like I'll hear you when I won't. Sorry, love. So like, don't kill me with your guitar axe. What's your name, sweetie?
Courtney.
Say hello, Courtney. What was your...
Kiss, marry, kill, Todd Vic.
Kiss, marry, kill, Todd Vic Travis? Oh my god. I've actually played this before. Let me see if I can remember. I would marry Travis, because I asked Laura, like, surely, he's a great husband. Todd for the next option. And I guess that means I would have to kill Vic. I don't want to kill Vic, but apparently I have no options. So, thank you. Do you like that? Make a fan fiction, I'll read it. How much time do I have left? Oh, I have time for one more question, then I have to wrap it up. So, let me see. You, darling, standing up. Come up, let everyone see you, because you look fantastic, by the way. Isn't this amazing? What's your name, love?
My name's Katrina.
What's your question? The last one of the panel. I hope it's a good one.
This will show my age, but what did you enjoy most about Trinity Blood?
Shows your age. Shut up. You're adorable. Trinity Blood's not that old. Oh my god, it was like, what? How was it? 10 years ago now? Seems like it. Well, whatever. 10 years is nothing to a man my age. Trinity Blood. Do we have any Trinity Blood fans? Trinity Blood was really, really fun to do because that was one of my that was the first thing I ever did that actually wound up on television in the States. And so again, it was my first role. I got to gather the family around and watch the show, and all of them were completely baffled. I'm like, it's vampires and awesome hats to just watch them. The guy gets a hole blown through him and continues to talk for 10 minutes. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, but I really like Trinity Blood. Thank you. Thank you for being up, sweetie. Thank you. God, that's really exquisite. All right, well, I have to wrap it up. So thank you all for coming. There is an autograph signing session in an hour from now, I think, in here. So please come to that. I have to run to grab some lunch before I come back for that. And then tonight, if you're over 18, please come to the 5 o'clock 18 and up panel.